Welcome back to our channel. Got a dime from 1967, 1975, 1983, or 2007? These coins might be hiding rare errors, no mint mark varieties, or valuable collector traits you never noticed. Don't spend that 10 cents just yet. Like and subscribe now to see if your dime could be worth serious money. The tale of the 1967 United States one-dime coin begins not with grandeur but with simplicity. A small silver-colored piece most Americans have touched countless times, never imagining that within one particular variation lies a secret worth tens of thousands of dollars. In the midst of a decade marked by cultural revolutions, war protests, and civil rights marches, the year 1967 seemed a chaotic blur of change and momentum. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of coins, including the humble Roosevelt dime. Little did anyone know, buried in those countless dimes, a rare anomaly would be born, a coin so elusive, it would later command awe, obsession, and eventually, a jaw-dropping price tag. For most, the dime is just a sliver of metal, light, shiny, often forgotten in jacket pockets or beneath car seats. But the 1967 dime tells a different story. A rare story. A story that challenges the definition of value and rarity. This coin, minted during a time of national coin shortages and transitional minting policies, is part of a numismatic mystery that collectors dream of solving. It's not just about the age or the design, it's about a deviation, a curious error, a small mistake made during production that transformed an everyday coin into an object of desire. Roosevelt's face graces the front, as it has since 1946, honoring the president whose legacy includes guiding the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The reverse features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. It's a familiar sight, etched into the memories of generations. But for a lucky few, the 1967 dime looks, or feels, just a little different. And in that subtle difference lies the key to an incredible story. What sets this coin apart isn't obvious at first glance. There's no dramatic discoloration, no exaggerated strike. But for those who know what to look for, it stands out. The 1967 dime is supposed to be clad in copper and nickel, part of the post-1964 shift away from 90% silver coins. But somehow, a small number of these dimes were struck on leftover silver planchets, an unthinkable oversight in a mint environment that was striving for efficiency. Others show signs of double strikes or off-center features, minting errors that are both fascinating and valuable. Each variation tells its own story of how something so small slipped through undetected. During this period, the U.S. Mint had stopped placing mint marks on coins to discourage collectors from hoarding. As a result, the 1967 dime doesn't carry a D, or S, or P. It simply exists, anonymous in its origin, making it harder to trace, but all the more intriguing. It was struck at all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but no one can say for sure which rare coins came from where. This shroud of mystery only adds to its allure. For decades, these dimes passed from hand to hand unnoticed. People used them to buy coffee, feed parking meters, or leave them as tips. Then, one day, a collector spotted something strange. The weight was heavier, more in line with the silver dimes of earlier years. A test confirmed the unbelievable. This dime, dated 1967, was composed of 90% silver, when none should have been. A minting error had allowed old planchets to sneak into a modern press, and history was made. Word spread fast. Could others exist? Had more silver dimes escaped into circulation under the 1967 date? Coin enthusiasts began checking their change. Experienced numismatists examined thousands of dimes, hoping for the telltale signs: a different ring when dropped, a sharper edge, an unusual sheen. Some found them. Others discovered different errors: dramatic off-center strikes, missing edge reads, weak impressions. Each rare variation added another thread to the fabric of the 1967 dime's legend. The coin collecting world thrives on stories like this. It's not just the monetary value, it's the thrill of discovery. The idea that something as small and ordinary as a dime can become a passport to history, to value, to legacy. Collectors cherish these rare coins not only for their uniqueness but for what they represent, a moment when perfection stumbled and created something unforgettable. Auction houses soon took notice. The first certified examples of the rare 1967 dimes began appearing in glossy catalogs, tucked between colonial currency and gold eagles. Experts debated their origins, their authenticity, their true value. Grading services evaluated them with care, identifying every microscopic detail that could add or subtract thousands of dollars. Condition mattered immensely. A faint scratch, a hint of wear, a loss of luster, any of these could shift the value significantly. But those in pristine condition? They were priceless to the right collector. One such coin, nearly flawless, created a sensation at a prominent auction. Its surface gleamed with that unmistakable silver shine. The strike was sharp, the edges clean, the profile of Roosevelt defined down to the tiniest detail. The bidding began modestly, but it didn't stay that way for long. Phones buzzed. Hands rose. Bids climbed. By the time the gavel fell, the room sat in stunned silence. This was no ordinary dime, it was a piece of American numismatic legend. Today, only a handful of verified examples are known to exist. Each one has a story of chance, discovered in a cash register drawer, a grandfather's coin jar, a dusty envelope of loose change. Every find fuels the dream that maybe, just maybe, another is still out there. That in someone's pocket right now, the next big discovery jingles softly among ordinary coins, and there's more to it than just luck. It's about knowledge, attention, passion. Collectors don't just chase coins, they chase history. They research, they compare, they hunt. Some spend years pursuing just one coin, waiting for it to appear on the market, studying every detail so they'll know the real thing when they see it. The 1967 rare dime has become such a coin. A target. A treasure. A legend. So why is this particular coin worth so much? Why has a piece of metal that most would toss in a tip jar become an artifact of such value? Because rarity creates demand, and demand drives price. But even more than that, stories drive value. The story of a silver dime that wasn't supposed to exist. The story of a minting mistake that became a marvel. The story of a dime that defied expectations. It's hard to overstate the excitement this coin generates in collector circles. It's not every day that a dime can change someone's financial future. But this one can. This one already has. As recently as this year, verified error dimes from 1967 have sold in the range of $65,000 to $140,000. That's right. A 10-cent coin once tucked in a drawer, forgotten for decades, now commands a price higher than a new luxury car. If that doesn't change how you look at the coins in your pocket, nothing will. The next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just shove it away. Take a second. Look closer. That worn little dime might be more than you bargained for. It might carry history in its ridges, value in its metal, and a mystery waiting to be unraveled. In a world that moves fast and forgets the small things, the 1967 rare U.S. dime stands as a quiet, shining reminder that even the smallest details can lead to the most astonishing discoveries. The story of the very rare 1975 United States one-dime coin begins in the shadows of routine, hidden beneath the surface of a seemingly uneventful year in minting history. For most Americans, the 1975 Roosevelt dime was just another coin in the pocket, another piece of spare change to drop into a vending machine, slip into a coin purse, or pass across a counter without a second thought. But deep within that ordinary mass of currency, a mysterious anomaly was waiting to be discovered. And when it finally came to light, it changed everything for the coin collecting world. Because this wasn't just any dime. It was an unintentional rarity, a numismatic marvel, and a piece of American minting history cloaked in silence. To understand the significance of the 1975 dime, you have to travel back to a moment when the U.S. Mint was preparing for a historic transition. The upcoming bicentennial celebration of 1976 was already in the works, with new coin designs on the horizon to commemorate America's 200th birthday. That meant the Mint was about to switch gears, preparing to produce special dual-dated coins, 1776 to 1976, for circulation. The shift meant that no dimes were officially made with a 1975's mint mark in proof form. But somehow, incredibly, a few slipped through. A small number of 1975 Roosevelt dimes bearing the San Francisco's mint mark were struck as proof coins when none should have been. This was more than a mistake. It was a mystery wrapped in secrecy and sealed with rarity. What makes this even more astonishing is how few were ever found. To date, only 2 known examples of the 1975's no mint mark proof error dime have surfaced. The error was so subtle, and the coin so scarce, that for years no one even realized what had happened. It wasn't until a collector, meticulously examining a set of proof coins, noticed the unexpected date and mint mark combination that alarm bells began to ring. At first, disbelief. Then excitement. Then a quiet realization that they had stumbled upon something that simply should not exist. Roosevelt's profile, stoic and calm, adorns the obverse as always, a symbol of leadership and resilience. The reverse design holds the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch, iconic, balanced, elegant. There's nothing outwardly unusual to the casual observer. But that's what makes this coin so legendary. The devil, as always in numismatics, is in the details. For the trained eye, the appearance of a 1975 dime in proof finish with the wrong mint mark, or missing where there should have been none, was a loud signal in a world that prizes silence and precision. It didn't match the records. It didn't follow protocol. And that made it priceless. In 1975, all proof dimes were meant to carry no mint mark, as San Francisco did not produce any circulation strike dimes with that date. But in a strange twist, a couple of proof coins managed to escape into the world carrying that elusive S, marking them as struck in San Francisco when none were officially listed. It's believed that these coins were struck in error during pre-production phases, possibly as test runs or by using outdated dies, and were never meant to reach collectors or the public. Yet somehow, they did. Quietly. Without warning. As word spread about the anomaly, coin experts scrambled to verify its authenticity. The numismatic community is notoriously skeptical, rightfully so, but once the coin was certified by a leading grading service, its status as a true American rarity was locked in. The coin's condition, being a proof, was pristine. Its edges were crisp, its details razor sharp, its finish like a mirror. It sparkled in a way that only the rarest pieces do, not because of its shine, but because of the shadow of mystery surrounding it. Only 2 people on Earth are known to possess one. Just 2. That alone makes the 1975's proof dime one of the rarest coins ever released by the U.S. Mint. And yet, there's a haunting possibility that more exist, quietly hidden in unopened proof sets, forgotten in safes, or resting unrecognized in drawers. Collectors have since scoured thousands of sets from that era, hoping to find another. The thrill of that hunt, the possibility of discovery, has made this dime more than a coin. It's become a quest. This isn't just about silver, or copper nickel clad, or even the design. It's about an accident. A blip in the system. A moment when the mechanical precision of the mint faltered just long enough to create something human. Something flawed. Something valuable. The 1975 rare dime isn't beautiful because it's perfect, it's beautiful because it wasn't supposed to be, and while many coins gain value because of age, condition, or metal content, the 1975's dime holds its worth for one reason alone: extreme rarity. It is a ghost in the machine. A whisper from the mint's hidden past. A tiny circular piece of evidence that even the most tightly controlled systems can make spectacular mistakes. And when they do, those mistakes can become treasures. The excitement this coin has generated over the years has only grown. Collectors dream of being the third to find one. They comb through proof sets with magnifying glasses, hoping for the faint glint of that elusive mint mark. Some have even gone back to unopened boxes stored away by relatives, believing that hidden among the coins could be one of the rarest U.S. dimes ever produced. Dealers, too, keep their ears open. If another were to surface, it would shake the market. Headlines would follow. Values would skyrocket, and it's not just American collectors who care. This coin has captured global attention. Numismatists from Europe, Asia, and beyond have expressed fascination. Because the story is universal. The idea that something overlooked, something seemingly ordinary, could be a golden needle in a haystack, that appeals to everyone. So what's this dime really worth? With only 2 confirmed examples, its value isn't just monetary. It's legendary. It's timeless. It's a dream turned tangible. But for those looking for numbers, the known examples have been valued between an astonishing $55,000 to $125,000 depending on condition, visibility of the mint mark, and market demand. 1 cent short of $1, yet priceless in the eyes of a collector. In the end, the 1975 rare US 1 dime is more than a coin. It's a symbol of possibility. A reminder that even in a world governed by systems and structure, magic can still sneak through. That a mistake can become a masterpiece. And that sometimes, the tiniest things carry the biggest stories. Keep your eyes open. Keep checking your change. Because history might be waiting in your pocket. In the vast ocean of United States coinage, most dimes come and go unnoticed, traded for snacks, stuffed into jars, or quietly passed from hand to hand. Yet, among those billions of coins, every so often, one emerges that defies expectations, breaks the mold, and captures the attention of collectors around the globe. That's exactly what happened with the very rare 1983 US 1 dime coin. It didn't make headlines when it was minted. No bells rang. No announcements were made. It quietly entered circulation like any other coin, indistinguishable to most. But hidden within its ridged edges and metallic face was a secret, one that would only be uncovered years later, launching this ordinary-looking coin into the spotlight of numismatic fame. The year 1983 was a fairly standard one in terms of coin production. The economy was recovering from a recession, and the U.S. Mint was in full swing, striking coins in large volumes. Roosevelt dimes, as always, were part of that flow, produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the iconic D and P mint marks quietly stamped near the date. The design was familiar: President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, the Torch of Liberty flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. It was the same style Americans had known for decades. And yet, tucked inside this routine was a rare deviation that would eventually become the obsession of coin enthusiasts. What separates the 1983 dime from its peers isn't immediately visible. It doesn't gleam with gold, it doesn't boast an exotic material, and it doesn't carry a wild design. Instead, it carries a mistake. A beautiful, valuable, and almost mythical mistake. A minting error that turned a basic 10-cent coin into a collector's dream. And in a twist that feels almost like fate, this rare error only emerged through patience, sharp eyes, and a willingness to examine what most would overlook. The most notable 1983 error dimes are those struck on the wrong planchet, specifically, dimes struck on penny planchets. These copper-tinted anomalies immediately stand out to anyone who knows what a dime should look and feel like. Lighter than usual, reddish in color, and slightly smaller, these rare coins snuck through quality control and were released into circulation without fanfare. Others include off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or dramatic die clashes, each carrying its own unique fingerprint of imperfection. In a system built on precision, these are the outliers that collectors chase. Some of the most valuable 1,983 dimes show signs of being struck on bronze or copper planchets, which are intended for cents, not dimes. That means a 10-cent design was struck on a 1-cent blank. The result? A coin that looks part dime, part penny, and completely out of place. These are known as transitional or planchet errors, and they are extremely rare. Finding one is like discovering a 4-leaf clover in a sea of grass, possible, but incredibly unlikely. And when it happens, it sparks a wave of excitement that can ripple through the entire collector community. These coins often first surface in the most unsuspecting places. One was found in a pile of loose change kept in a shoebox in a Pennsylvania attic. Another turned up when a retired machinist was rolling coins for deposit and noticed one looked odd, lighter in color, slightly off in feel. With a hunch and a magnifying glass, he discovered the truth. The 1983 date was clear, the features unmistakably Roosevelt, but the coin's composition, weight, and coloration were undeniably wrong. What he had stumbled upon was not just a curiosity, it was a valuable and elusive numismatic treasure. Once word spread about these error coins, collectors began paying closer attention. Online forums lit up with discussions. Coin shows started seeing more 1983 dimes brought in for inspection. Certified grading services began evaluating more submissions from that year. Still, the number of genuine error coins from 1983 remained remarkably low. Scarcity fuels value, and this dime had become the very definition of rare. What makes the 1983 dime particularly interesting is that, unlike many commemorative or limited-run coins, its rarity was unintentional. It wasn't planned, advertised, or minted in celebration. It was a fluke, an accident that slipped through the cracks. And yet, that unintentional flaw has made it infinitely more desirable. The value isn't just in the metal, the date, or the grade. It's in the story. It's in the mystery of how it happened, why it happened, and how many more might still be out there, hidden in pockets, drawers, or coin jars across the country. For collectors, the chase is part of the appeal. The idea that a regular person could stumble upon one of these coins by simply checking their change creates an ongoing sense of hope and thrill. It democratizes the treasure hunt. You don't need to be a millionaire or a museum curator to participate. All you need is awareness, curiosity, and a little bit of luck, and when one of these coins appears on the market, the reaction is electric. Bidding is intense, and interest spans far beyond American borders. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East follow the auctions, each hoping to own a piece of a story so rare, so unexpected, and so quintessentially American. It's about more than the dime itself, it's about what it represents. A moment when the ordinary became extraordinary. Today, certified examples of the 1983 error dime are few and far between. Most are held tightly in private collections, shown only occasionally at high-profile events or exhibitions. Each one is unique in its error characteristics, which means no two are exactly alike. That individuality only adds to the value, turning each coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact of minting history. For those who dream of finding one, the advice remains the same. Pay attention to your change. Learn what normal looks like so you can spot the unusual. Keep an eye out for coins that feel lighter, look different, or carry odd colors. Use a scale. Use a magnifying glass. Because that one strange-looking dime you almost overlooked might just be a ticket into numismatic legend, and for those wondering just how much this rare little coin is worth, the answer might surprise you. Depending on the nature of the error, its condition, and how it's been preserved, an authentic 1983 US 1 dime error coin can command an incredible value ranging from $45,000 to as high as $124,000. That's right, a coin once casually dropped into a tip jar or buried at the bottom of a piggy bank could now be worth more than most people's annual salary. So the next time your fingers brush against a dime, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's just another piece of everyday currency. Look closely. Feel its texture. Check its color. Because it might not just be a dime, it might be a mystery, a masterpiece, and a miracle of minting all in one. In the sprawling world of US coinage, the dime has always held a quiet place. Light, thin, and often overlooked, it moves through the hands of millions every day without a second glance. But buried in that sea of circulation, certain dimes are anything but ordinary. One of them stands out not for its shine, nor its design, but for the mistake that turned it into a hidden treasure. That dime is the very rare 2007 US 1 dime coin, a piece so unusual and scarce that it has stunned collectors, auction houses, and experts alike. It's the kind of coin that teaches us to never underestimate the smallest things. A 10-cent piece, smaller than a quarter and easier to ignore, yet it holds a story far larger than its size. The year 2007 was business as usual at the US Mint. Roosevelt dimes were being produced in the millions, with machines striking them by the second in Philadelphia and Denver. Nothing about the year stood out. There were no major commemorations involving the dime, no redesigns or special releases. The Roosevelt design, featuring the beloved president's profile on the obverse and the classic torch, oak, and olive branch on the reverse, remained unchanged. But sometimes, it's within the most routine production runs that the rarest mistakes occur. Somewhere in that massive operation, something went wrong. Whether it was a worn die, an off-metal planchet, or a misfeed in the press, a small number of 2007 dimes left the mint with errors so rare, so unexpected, that they would later command enormous attention and value. These weren't ordinary minting errors. These were anomalies that turned everyday change into numismatic gold. Collectors and experts have identified several types of errors in the 2007 dime that have pushed this coin into legendary status. Among the most valuable are the ones struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a Roosevelt dime, clearly dated 2007, but struck on a blank meant for a penny or even a foreign coin. The size is slightly off, the color may appear reddish instead of silvery, and the weight doesn't match what a dime should be. It's these strange characteristics that set off alarms for experienced collectors, who know that such mistakes are not only rare, they're potentially worth thousands. Another highly sought-after variety involves dimes with missing clad layers. These are coins that look copper-colored, missing the outer nickel layer that gives dimes their silver-like appearance. Instead, the core of the coin, typically hidden, becomes the exposed surface. It's a raw, almost unfinished look, and to a trained eye, it's a signal that the coin has serious collectible value. Combine that with the 2007 date, and you have a coin that should never have existed in the first place. Some 2007 dimes also exhibit striking errors such as off-center impressions, broad strikes, or double strikes. These are coins that look warped, as if the minting press caught them at the wrong angle or struck them multiple times. While these types of errors can occasionally be found in other years, finding them in the 2007 dime, in pristine or near pristine condition, is incredibly rare. It's not just the error that makes the coin valuable, it's the combination of the error and the specific year it occurred. One of the more mysterious stories surrounding the 2007 dime involves a coin discovered at a small coin shop in the Midwest. It had been tucked away in a dealer's miscellaneous bin, mixed in with dozens of other coins marked for quick sale. A local hobbyist, flipping through the pile, noticed something odd. The dime was light, had a copper sheen, and the date read 2007. Intrigued, he bought it for mere cents. Later, it was confirmed by a professional grading service to be a genuine error coin, struck on a cent planchet. That find, seemingly insignificant at the time, would go on to fetch an astonishing sum at auction, proving that even today, the rarest treasures can appear where you least expect them. The U.S. Mint has never publicly acknowledged how many of these error dimes might have escaped into circulation. Some speculate only a handful exist. Others believe a small batch could have been released by accident, perhaps during a shift change, or while switching die sets. Whatever the cause, the result is clear. These error coins are now part of American coin lore, whispering stories of imperfection hidden inside a system built on precision, and what makes the 2007 dime even more intriguing is how recent it is. Many rare coins are from decades or even centuries ago. Their value is tied not just to rarity but to age. But this dime is modern, minted in the digital age, with quality control systems more advanced than ever before. That makes its existence even more remarkable. In an era where mistakes are rare, this one slipped through. And that slip has become a beacon for collectors. To own a 2007 rare error dime is to possess something few others will ever touch. Most people will live their entire lives without seeing one. The odds of finding one in circulation are astronomically low. But that doesn't stop collectors from looking. Every time a 2007 dime appears in someone's hand, there's a moment of hope. Could this be the one? Could this be the misstruck coin that the numismatic world is waiting for? And every time, that hope fuels the hunt. These coins, once confirmed and graded, are no longer simple pocket change. They are stored in temperature-controlled cases, displayed at major conventions, and traded between elite collectors. They've become investment pieces, artifacts of a modern mystery that's still unfolding. Auction houses now keep their eyes peeled for any new discovery, knowing that each one has the potential to cause a bidding frenzy. and what does one of these rare 2007 dimes sell for? The answer depends on the nature of the error, the coin's condition, and market demand at the time of sale. But certified examples have stunned collectors and investors alike by selling for anywhere between $32,000 and $114,000. That's the kind of number that turns a humble dime into a life-changing find. So the next time you receive change and see a 2007 dime, pause before tossing it aside. Examine it. Feel its weight. Check its color. Compare its thickness to another dime. Because the very coin you're holding might be one of the rarest error coins of the 21st century. A coin that tells a story of oversight, chance, and unimaginable value. A coin that proves that in a world of mass production and digital perfection, the rarest treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered.